Oh, for real? Yeah.
Alright, hello everybody. So, welcome back to the channel. I have a new avatar now, which is neat. Today's video is, as you can probably tell by the title, is going to be about a creator on the platform, YouTube platform, named Sloan. Well, he's using the name Sloan. Actually, I think his real name's Sloan too, so whatever. Either or works. Anyway, so this person in particular, he makes, he's a tea channel, basically. He covers a variety of different topics, from Britney Spears to other YouTube people. So he kind of goes through all the stuff. He's been creating content consistently, like every goddamn day. Which is like, because for a while I was unsure whether or not he was monetized, because I'm like, God, I don't know if he is, because every time I click on the video, I don't remember seeing an ad. But then when I was preparing for this video, I did go through his content once again to kind of prepare. And then yes, there was some ads on a video. There was an ad, so some of them are monetized depending on the subject, because that's kind of how the cookie crumbles on the YouTube scope. Anyway, I want to make one thing very clear. My intentions here. I don't want to cancel the dude. I'm not trying to like. I'm not sitting here, or I don't want to be all like, this guy is awful, because I don't like. If we're gonna be real here, why I can't really know his intent, because I'm not him. I'm not in his brain. I'm not a mind reader. I can't actually know that. But I do believe when he talks about this stuff, his intent isn't like malicious. I don't think he's, for the most part, talking about these things for like to gain fame or notoriety, because he wouldn't be talking about the kind of stuff he's talking about if he was trying to get money off of YouTube, because they're all very controversial, and the controversial things tend to get demonetized, as I was saying earlier, that I actually don't know whether or not he's monetized or not. So I don't think he's doing this for like financial gain. That's the first thing that I want to get out there. And I also don't want him to be canceled. I just want to have a little chat about some issues I take with his content. So that's it. Getting into exactly the problems I have is going to be, it's a bit complicated, because once again, he's covered a lot of different topics from different spheres, and but I think there's one video in particular that kind of, some of the issues that I kind of have with his content overall in some areas, not all of them, and it's a little more humorous in a sense. We're gonna start off really light, because I don't want to start off real heavy in the beginning. We're just gonna just have a little fun with this one. Okay, so it's about Drake Bell. So if you don't know Drake Bell was from the Drake and Josh from Nickelodeon? Yes, Nickelodeon. So nowadays, if you don't, he started after Nickelodeon. He's living in Mexico, right? And he's making music in Spanish, because that's the way it goes. And so that's the rundown, and I just want to play you a clip from Sloan's video as he's talking about this. He's saying, like, he's really weirded out by the concept of somebody who from one country to another and then speaking primarily in the primary language of a country.
I do find it a little bit weird that he didn't just like create a Spanish song like every other artist does, but he is now just becoming Spanish and, tweeting out saying, everything from now on is just going to be Spanish, and posting videos online where he's just speaking Spanish, which is totally cool, but it just seems like a weird transition to make. And
so it's like, first of all, what? Why is this so weird to you? I want to point out that there are creators on this website of YouTube that we're on right now. Of course you know where we're at. Who is Ready to Glare, who is from Italy. She's Italian. So her parents and her are from Italy. She lived in Italy, and she speaks English on all of her social media platforms, and English is her second language. The idea isn't far-fetched. And on top of that, so he's living in Mexico, right? The people, he has his record deal is with a Spanish-speaking record company. And you know how a lot of celebrities have other people managing their social medias? For him to be speaking primarily Spanish could also help whoever the hell is running his Twitter account, because it'd probably just be more convenient for the people he's working with if he just speaks Spanish.
I'm no expert when it comes to a cultural appropriation, but it sounds like it could be that. Like, again, I am not the person to ask when it comes to cultural appropriation, like which one is and which one isn't. But comment below if you think this is, because it seems a little bit weird to me.
Dude. This whole thing so far is that he just speaks Spanish. Speaking Spanish as a white person is apparently cultural appropriation. Bro, have you heard of Spain? Like, for real? Do you know where that language even freaking comes from? It comes from a country in Europe. Primarily Europeans. For all you know, Drake Bell could actually be Spaniard. Because he is white. So he could be Spaniard. Spain is the country this language originates from. Like, how could you forget about a whole freaking country, bro? And on top of that, like, oh my god, like, did you see fucking the road to El Dorado? You uncultured swine, I swear to God. And that's my breaking point. To clarify, cultural appropriation is a thing. That's not what we're debating here, but it should be handled by a case-by-case basis, and whether or not it's cultural appropriation should be led up to the people in that culture, the majority of the people in the culture, because there isn't like a hive mind when it comes to culture. Yeah, we know that. And in this case with Drake, nobody down there seems to be upset about it. But it seems like throughout this video that Sloan thinks that he's somehow pretending to be Hispanic.
But again, it's a weird situation thinking that he has just become like a Hispanic singing Spanish icon.
And like, nobody thinks he's Hispanic. So I think this kind of plays into like the overall kind of issue is he likes to jump to conclusions. Like, the majority of time when he jumps to these conclusions, usually due to a lack of knowledge on a certain subject, like, you know, Spain. And which is also shown in the next thing we're going to talk about. So Sloan, when he finds a topic, he tends to make a series on it, so multiple videos. Like, unlike the one we just covered, there's not a whole lot you can really talk about there, and even the video itself doesn't have a whole lot of substance itself. But something that does have a lot more substance to it is the Dan Snyder videos. There are particularly two specifically focused on Dan Snyder. Well, actually only two that are really focused on what he's done specifically. The first two definitely don't have any problems with. Mostly he focused on the overwhelming evidence of the stuff that he's done, and on the personal experiences of the people who have personally worked for him. So it's first-hand experience. The women who used to be young girls working on the show talking out about their experiences on the shows and the type of work environment that they were placed into as minors, which is great. They're good videos. They're solid. But so now where things get tripped up is on the third video that is more or less about Ariana Grande and how she was handled on the show. Like, okay, don't get me wrong. It's a little weird looking back at it, and I believe it's the middle part of the video is definitely this area where I want to focus on the most. He just brings up that there's these adult jokes in the show.
Average.
Like as in his size?
Box has spoken.
What are you into? Like what kind of sexual things are they into? What's their, like, you know?
How bad do you want this?
Enjoy the bone.
Can I hold it?
No, I don't want to see that thing again. Put it away.
It was only for one night. It didn't mean anything.
That one is literally so obvious.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Like, literally, that can be compared to moans, like, obviously.
A wiener?
You do it way more gentle than my mom does it.
Like, what the hell?
Sometimes I do it to myself.
Literally, masturbation. There it is.
Here comes that feeling.
I heard you swallow.
That always really bothers me, and it's just another clear sign that these producers are trying to sneak some creepy, gross things in your children's TV shows. I'm sure they're still doing it nowadays.
You see, the way he talks about it, I swear, it sounds like he has some, like, it's some bizarre conspiracy that these TV shows are trying to corrupt the children's mind. And, it's not exactly the case. See, this isn't really new. Like, this isn't also like a Disney or a, Disney Channel or Nickelodeon channel kind of thing. This also happened, there's also jokes like that on Cartoon Network, which a really old show like, Dexter's Lab off the top of my head, which had, like, the Silver Spooner, which, as a child, you didn't quite get it, but when you get older, you get it. The newer one, like Steven Universe, had the meat kind of thing with an episode with Garnet, like that was an early one, and Adventure Time had literally had a Finn dance on like a stripper pole, which was a weird episode, but also Disney for years, like every time, like I think it was in Bambi, yeah, Bambi, where it was spring, and then the main cast, you know, they meet girls, and when I think one of them got kissed, they went stiff, if you know what I mean. Gross. Anyway, so those adult jokes have been in media that were meant for children for like a while. The reason being is because oftentimes when kids are watching something, they're not by themselves. You see, these jokes are made in a way that they would go over the kid's head, and the adults in the room would get them. That's why they make those jokes. It's not for the kids, it's for the adults. Because most people don't send their kids to this, well, when it comes to movies, they don't send their kids to the cinemas, and most people usually keep an eye on their kids. But more often than not, like either your parent or an older sibling or a babysitter will be in the room with you when you're watching this stuff, and that's who the jokes are for, and they're not for the kids. They're not trying to send weird messages to kids. It's just adult jokes for the adults in the room.
You'll notice throughout this video that Ariana Grande will appear to be like a ditz in her character, a dumb character, because Dan Schneider wrote her that way. And it's really awkward to watch sometimes because as the seasons moved on, the other characters became smarter and she just became dumber. This clip just shows how they really wanted Ariana Grande to do that baby voice and act very childlike and girly-like, and I just think that this is part of the weird fantasy they were trying to portray.
So, that is a product of something that a lot of people who kind of deal with this sort of stuff call seasonal rot. And unfortunately, those Nickelodeon kids shows, like Disney and Nickelodeon, when it comes to live action people, they kind of suck in the beginning, so it starts rotting real fast. Like, I swear, he thinks it's because they have some weird, sick fantasy that they want to fulfill with Ariana, which in some cases, maybe, but I don't think it's because, I don't think they're making her dumber because they getting off on it. I think it's just because it's a shitty kids show, and people don't think too highly of the intelligence of their audience, so they're writing down to their audience. That's all it is, the product of writing down to your audience and seasonal rot. That's the product of why her character got dumb. I don't know what else to tell you, man. And this is kind of like, and this is the thing. He likes to he starts somewhere grounded, grounded in reality, and he leaps off the clip of reality and then jumps into the pool of absurdity, because it's absurd. Like, we are, and that might seem like a bit of a stretch, but we are talking about a dude who unironically believes in Illuminati. Like,
Tory Lane's new song, because he dropped a song with a music video, and the song and the music video are referring to Miss Britney Spears. And I feel like this is a great example of how Britney is just literally, her song, I'm a Slave for You, like, she is working for the Illuminati and, the big industry, Hollywood, and doing anything that they want because she's pretty much their money puppet. It's really sad, and I watched the video, and honestly, it was pretty hard to watch.
whew, that shorthand doesn't exist in this guy's brain. Not like this dude is conscribed to a rhyme scheme and he has to make his point in a concise way, so using metaphors and shorthand is definitely the way to go, but I guess those two things don't exist. I guess maybe I'm the dumb one. Maybe I'm absurd, I don't know. But but I want to go back to the whole Dan Snyder situation. So, Liz Gilly. So,
I want to say, when it comes to Liz Gillies, I will be covering her on my channel soon. There is so much to get into involving her because she literally, married one of the creeps who were grooming her, on set. So obviously that's a lot to take in, and there's so much information. So don't worry, that video is...
well, about that. So, he did. I saw it, but it's no longer on his channel.
Talk about this without, getting in more trouble. So... if you guys watch my videos more, you watch it consistently, you may notice that there are some videos on my channel that have disappeared.
So, it was up. I saw it, and there is evidence that it, even he said it himself, he made the video. And it's down because there's something legal going on. I don't know what it is. I don't think he can talk about it because that tends to be what goes on in these cases. So, but so when I talk about this video, unfortunately, I don't have it, before I could, screen record it. So, about that video that I couldn't find, I found it. Somebody re-uploaded it. So, I do have all the dates, don't mind the paper moving around, so I do have all the dates he mentioned. So, okay, so Liz Gilly, she was born, January the 26th, in the year 1993, and, in January, as I am recording right now, so she's 27 at this time, because her birthday hasn't happened yet, and that is the important part, that her birthday is, kind of towards the end of the year, so, not that far towards the end, kind of in the middle of the year, so yeah. So, she was working on Victorious in 2009, which would make her, that would either make her 15 or 16. So, okay, she was working on Victorious in 2009 because it aired in 2010, so usually they take a year beforehand, so she would have been 15 or 16 years old. The date where they would have been working on the same, they were doing, her, Ariana, and the dude that, Liz Gilly married, because I don't remember his name. Okay, so they were recording something for Drake and Josh in January of 2012, which would make her 17, because we have the month. Without the month, I don't know how old she was. So in one of the interviews he played, that she says that she moved in with him, shortly after she turned 18, and she claimed in her interview that she moved with her, boyfriend after dating him for only 2 weeks. Specifically 2 weeks. That's what she said. 2 weeks after her 18th birthday. Probably. Because we don't know exactly how long after her 18th birthday that she moved into with this dude. And I don't really, like, looking through everything, like, sure, they might have, like, kind of, like, met when she was 17, but Sloane absolutely shows no evidence of them interacting when she was underage. Like, no, like, outside of this one interaction, which is one professional interaction, there's nothing about her or him talking about, like, how they first met or anything like that. Like, if she talked about dating him after they did a recording, the Drake and Josh theme song, and they going out or something, then that would be evidence, but there isn't. She never mentions anything like that. Every interaction that she mentions with him, and all the interactions that we know about, is after the age of 18. So, like, if there's grooming involved, she has to be underage when she begins talking to him. Not necessarily romantically, but just in general, like, in a friendly way. But we have no evidence of them actually interacting. Like, outside of a professional context. And there was probably a lot of people in that room besides him and her. We do know Ariana was there too, so. And he claimed like he was like 15, but once again, she was 17 when we knew exactly that they definitely like at least were in the same room with each other. That's it. He doesn't actually know that they were dating when she was 15. None of the evidence points to it being like clearly grooming. 2 weeks after she turned 18, moving in with somebody sounds about right because we don't know the exact date. Like, she was 18, so she could have, like, it's completely reasonable that she decided just to move real quick with that. Moving in with somebody, which is kind of stupid, but it doesn't show evidence of grooming. It's weird that they started dating shortly after she turned 18, yeah. And it's also weird that he would date an 18-year-old at, like, 30. That's weird. But it's not illegal. It is not evidence of grooming. There is not enough evidence of that in that video. Like, he claimed he was going to bring up evidence, but there wasn't enough. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. So he's probably going to get sued for that one, which is weird. But I don't know. Hopefully he doesn't get sued. Hopefully he learns a lesson from this, that if he's gonna make statements like that, he's gotta bring a lot more to the table. Okay, next thing is... Okay, moving on to the next subject, which is Eugenia Cooney. Yep. So, someone makes, videos on Eugenia Cooney. Not like a lot, but, a few. So kind of like how I did in the beginning of this video, I'm going to start off with a little lighter, because this is a little heavier topic before we actually get into the meat and potatoes of the Eugenia bit. But, so, little minor nitpicks. Let's go.
Anyone who's like an OG Eugenia fan, can you please comment below, like, does she sleep with all those stuffed animals? Like, I don't know, stuffed animals like that gives me anxiety because, one, they're very hard to clean. So, like, all those are probably, like, I don't know, I just, in my own mind, I'm like, oh, stuffed animals, like, those aren't really cleaned that often. It's not like clothes. And two, a 26-year-old woman who's constantly talking about her stuffed animals, flexing her stuffed animals. It's just like, I love the whole cosplay energy. I totally get that. It's just part of me feels like she's never out of that. Like, it's constant.
So first of all, fuck you. Second of all, that's not a bed. It's a fucking couch. He's seen the Shane Dawkins documentary. He's seen her YouTube video. That is clearly a couch. That is not a bed. I don't know, actually. Hello, editing me. So the humidifier is on, and I don't feel like getting up to shut it off. So I look back at the St. Johnston documentary, and it looks like that Eugenia's bed is actually not in the same room as her equipment for streaming is, so it looks like they're two separate rooms, and so that's not even her bedroom that she's in, which is... Let's add Sloan not knowing the difference between a bed and a couch right next to him not knowing that Spain is a country.
I know she's like from Massachusetts, right? So does she have an accent from there, or is that another accent? Because she sounds like she's from like Sweden or something. And thank you.
Oh Lord, what even are you? Are you even a real person? Are you just a hologram here to torture me? How how do you not know accents? Does that even sound Swedish to you? So, okay, he acknowledges that Eugenia is originally from Connecticut, and of course her mom probably lives in Connecticut. So her accent is East Coast. Her accent is an American East Coast accent. It's either from Queens or Jersey, I can't tell. I think it's more Queens. I'm pretty sure it's Queens. It's like a New Yorker kind of accent. I don't think it's Jersey. Jersey kind of sounds different. Yeah, I think it's Queens. I'm pretty sure it's Queens. I'm not sure. I mean, Connecticut is right next to, like, freaking New York, so that makes sense. Like, it's like a state over. And no, I did not have to look that up. Okay. Now that we had our fun, we move on to the meat and potatoes of this segment. So, when it comes to Sloan's coverage on Eugene Cooney, he's a lot more restrained than a lot of other people were and are. Talking about before Eugenia's comeback and after. Because, yeah. Which I would like to reiterate that especially when it comes to Eugenia, I don't believe he is doing this out of malicious intent when he talks about her. I do believe that he is a fan of hers and that he does actually care about her well-being. I don't think he's exploiting her. I don't think he's trying to make her worse so he can talk about her or whatever. Like, I do believe he has good intent here, and he is aware that there's a certain way you should and you shouldn't talk about people with this eating, I was gonna say it, but I can't say that, with the ZD. That's only, like, some of the time, because there was these weird moments where it's like he completely forgets, like, everything he said previously. Like, when it comes to Eugenia's kind of like energy.
And when you get to that level, you don't know how to take care of yourself anymore. You kind of lost like the ability to, like, you don't really know, like, your body just doesn't really register, like, let's eat in the morning, let's eat at lunch, like, you don't really know what to eat. Like, I was eating such bad food. I would just eat like one like Twinkie a day, and then I was just skinny and whatever, and it was honestly the worst time in my life. And it wasn't only just because of like how my body was handling it, but it was also my mind. Like, when you're depriving your body of these like necessary nutrients and things you need to, let off neurotransmitters and things in your brain, you are just removing so much of the functionality going on in your body that you just kind of slowly shut down. Like, I felt my brain and my emotions and everything going on in my head slow down, because you just cannot process that much. You don't have the energy. Food truly is energy, which it sounds weird to think about. It's like, I never like to think about like, oh, food is energy, but it really is. And if this energy isn't like metabolized in your stomach, you're not going to have the serotonin released in your brain, and you're not going to have normal brain functions. And then after some time, this becomes your normal, and you don't know how to recover. And recovery sounds scary, and recovery hurts because it doesn't make you feel good, because you've been depriving yourself for so long that the sip of water you take on live stream, I could take a sip while I'm talking, hurts your stomach because your body has not had water for so long. And I'm not trying to like come for Eugenia or make fun of her or make the situation worse. I'm literally someone who is concerned, like in most of my other videos, about another person's well-being. The Rock, who hasn't changed at all, like, and very stubborn, very hard to get through and to read and to understand. This entire time she's on stream for 6 hours and she's the same emotion. You guys can see throughout my video, I'm smiling one second, I'm shook the next second, I am offended the third. But she is constantly the same, and I just don't get that.
He's aware that he knows that she seems kind of like at the same level all the time. Is probably a side effect of her ED, probably. And, okay, let me take a moment here to stop and mention that we actually don't know that much about what Eugenia is actually going through. We haven't really had confirmation about exactly what Eugenia is struggling with. We do know that she has an ED, but the type of ED is still up in the air. We haven't received confirmation, so everything forward is, and actually in every video outside of her just having an ED is all speculation on like the type that it is and what the like side effects or like characteristics is all just speculation. We can't nobody can diagnose somebody just through watching their videos. And like, okay, so back to, he's also mentioned that he's been a fan of hers for a while. And it's like, when it comes to her attitude and stuff, he should know. Like, he should know why she behaves the way she does. Like, he was probably around when all these people were coming at her. Like, when it comes to EDs, especially visible ones, people can be extremely cruel about it. Like, even, like, that's not even thing just to Eugenia. Like, just recently, Bad Baby, posted in, like, some sort of ad for something. Actually, you can probably just go to her Instagram page and just see all the comments that I'm talking about here, but she recently lost some weight due to stress, and the comments were making fun of her for potentially being Anna, if you know what I mean. Or telling her to eat something, you ugly skinny bitch, that sort of thing. Like, this is something that happens to a lot of, more often than not, women who have, even though Bad Baby's 17, but you know what I mean. I don't want to say females, because that just sounds so weird now. It happens to a lot of women who are well known online, that people will nitpick the heck out of what they look like, and there are plenty of people before her rehab visit and after her rehab visit that probably there just to say rude and bizarre comments at her, you know, about her ED. Because some people are just mean. And so recently on the internet, a lot more people are less tolerant of that kind of behavior. Like, people just don't brush it off anymore. They take it a lot more seriously, and you don't see it as prevalent as it was, like, when Eugenia started her career. I just clicked my nails, and that's probably really annoying on the audio, I'm sorry. With people who have, like, disorders, the internet can be pretty toxic. So she's kind of had to cope with that for, like, a long time to be able to keep her career online. So she's clearly built up some walls, is what I'm trying to get at here. That's what he's seeing. Like, her nervous laughter and her being all smiley and having to pretend that when people are mean to her, she's just chill with it. She's not, but this is just the kind of the way she's had to cope with people being really rude to her online. Mostly the strategy is if you act like you're unaffected by it, they'll lose interest and leave you alone. That's what a lot of people are told how to handle trolls, basically.
Dude, channel. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
People are concerned this entire time she's laughing it off. The entire time we are talking about scary things, about your well-being, and you're just kind of laughing it off. Like, thanks. Too. Like, those type of tips that she's getting are always referring to her health. Most of the time. Sometimes they're not. But she is getting paid every single time for this topic that she's thriving under. So of course she doesn't want to get it better. Of course she doesn't want to end this because this is her main topic. And here's a little snippet of like her just speaking on it.
Now, a video of yours went viral. It was on World Star Hip Hop. It was on, many other websites of you doing a tutorial on how to twerk. Now, a storm of people came back to your YouTube and they were leaving comments that were not so nice, and they were making comments about your body. How did you deal with that?
I really didn't really let it bother me, because, I just think, if something like that happens to you, you just kind of have to, kind of look at the bright side of it. I mean, even though they're all kind of hating on you, like, in the end, they are giving you, like, a lot of views, and even though, like, I got a lot of hate off it, I actually got, like, a lot of subscribers, so I just kind of looked at it for the positive of it.
So this clip, he, like, brings up multiple times in the video. In the videos that he talks about her. Like, that she's just doing this for clout. And no, like I said, you have to act like you're unbothered by it. Otherwise, they won't leave you alone. The more if you give them a reaction, like a negative reaction, they'll just keep doing it. So that's the strategy. Once again, jumping to conclusions. Oh boy. In all fairness, he hasn't really started I don't think he really started adding like malicious intent on her until like that one video that he posted where Eugenia read out a comment mentioning Sloan, and then that's kind of when he started doing that. Speaking of that video, he's mentioned that he made a video about Eugenia Cooney gaslighting her audience.
Yes, that's gaslighting. You're right, Emo J. We have to make a video about it right now, I'm really gaslighting my fans again.
Okay, so she just clearly says, I am gaslighting my fans again. And that is kind of a direct response to my video because I literally made a video. Eugenia Cooney is gaslighting her fans.
And he, like, he says he's done it. But, you see, the thing is, it's not on his channel anymore. And come to think of it, like, looking through his stuff, like, I could have sworn there was more videos. Like, about Eugenia. Because I was watching his channel when a lot of these Eugenia videos were being posted. And I remember a lot more in between. So, like, where are they going? What's the reason that they're gone? It's possible that it could be due to YouTube's terms of service kind of rule about harassment. If you make too many videos about a certain person, that could potentially get your channel taken down. That's kind of what happened with Leafy. He made like 5 videos in a row, Pokimane. But actually, I'm not really sure if any of them were. I never watched them, so I wasn't actually sure like if only 2 of them were about Pokimane and the rest were just about stocks, or that was just a joke. I don't know. I never saw the videos. But back to my point. So I don't know if he doesn't think that she is a gaslighter, if he got rid of it because he doesn't stand by what the stuff he said in there. Or is it to avoid his channel being taken down for harassment? Or a third option here is that maybe he thought it made him look bad, but there's a video there's a video that makes him look way worse. That's still up for some reason. Which is clickbaiting if Eugenia's hair is real or fake, which is... So, also, did you see what I did there? I laid out 3 different options that could be possible. It's almost like I'm not assuming anybody's intent here. Maybe Sloan should take some notes. So, is Eugenia Cooney's hair real or fake? Yep. He does go over, like, the theory that her hair is real or fake. When it comes to people with an ED, the type of ED that people think she has, but has no confirmation that she has, I'm gonna harp on that till the day I die, I guess. Or till the day it's confirmed. That, people with, we're just gonna call it Anna, if you know, you know, sort of thing, with Anna will tend to lose their hair due to malnutrition. And Eugenia has very thick, long hair. And she did a video where she, you know, got her hair cut and all that. And he thought it was performative, and some person sent him a text. I don't know. I freaking download all. I spend a whole night downloading all these videos, so I might as well just show clips.
When you're talking about someone with these issues, as someone who used to have these issues personally, I know that criticizing someone's appearance and breaking down what they look like is just not going to help them at all. Me making fun of her teeth or making fun of her hair or whatever people make fun of her for, her weight, there's so many things, it's not going to help her at all. And it's not even a good thing to talk about or to make fun of or even discuss. Like, I did not want to do this whole, is Eugenia Cooney's like hair real or fake? Like that video kind of sucks. But her hairstylist actually reached out to me, and I thought it was really crazy because I was just on Instagram doing my thing, and then I came across this DM and I was like, wait, Ariel hair, and I knew as soon as I went to her page, I knew it was her because Eugenia Cooney posted a picture or posted a video where she got her hair cut from this lady, and it was a hair situation. And I think maybe that's why her hairstylist messaged me, because this whole like topic is just a whole like discussion right now. People are talking about it, and I'm going to play this video where she talks about her hair being real. And you can see at one point she does push her hair, and you can see it's kind of like, I don't know, you see a lot of scalp. I don't want to again jump to conclusions, but she stops right away and we continue.
He does acknowledge that that it's not a good thing to nitpick her appearance, because that's not gonna help her in any way. And then, and motherfucking then, he does this.
For my makeup.
She really be lifting her hair like, she's so scared to like, and I'm really not, this is actually me again really not trying to pick on her for this, because I know that the whole like hair conversation is very sensitive. So Eugenia, I'm not trying to pick on her with this because I know the hair conversation is very sensitive for a lot of people, but like she stays trying to be like
so you know you're not supposed to nitpick her appearance, and you know this is probably a bad idea. But you say sly comments like that, and it comes off contradictory. Like, annoying, because he always says to lead with love, and like, when you say to lead with love and you do stuff like that, it's like your words and your action, even though in this case that the action is also words. Sometimes metaphors don't make a whole lot of sense, but whatever. When you say one thing and you do another, so it comes off as a little fake, and that's probably why there's people who make the assumption that you're just exploiting her, when I don't believe you are. I just think that maybe this is something personal. I think this might just be a personal issue, because he does talk about how he was an angry person, he's confrontational or whatever,
confrontational person, and I would, she loves to say, oh, they wouldn't do this if they weren't through the screen. I actually very much would, and if she wants to come on my channel or go on her channel or anything, I would love to collaborate with her, because she collaborates with people like Katie, that psychologist who wanted to put her into the 5150, but you know what, that's a whole other story, Eugene.
So it's really the Eugenia thing is so like all over the place that I don't even know where to begin. I get it that it's difficult to talk about her without talking about all the weird little nitpicky stuff, because she's not a terribly open person about the stuff that's going on in her life. And it's also really hard to talk about Eugenia without bringing up conspiracy, which he says he hasn't done, but...
Let's go back. I'm starting conspiracy theories. Wow, I've actually never done conspiracy theory videos on my channel, but I guess I already have. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, sure you haven't. Even though you totally did.
Narrate type of reading of Eugenia, and I do want to play some clips because I feel like he might be spot on.
I think her mom has a way of lying about the way things work. Because it seems like this would be like her having enough money, but this would be like her having enough money, but her, like, someone could like pretend like it's not enough, or someone could like say, oh, it fell through, oh, it wouldn't work, oh, it wouldn't, do that. Like there's something weird.
I think the mom has total control over like Eugenia's money, and I think Eugenia is being treated like a young girl. Like maybe her mom like runs her dashboard. Like I have no idea. Her mom is definitely not like a normal mom, and like just seeing how she interacts with Eugenia, and she calls her pretty multiple times. Like I think her mom wants her to be skinny, which is kind of a weird thing to say.
Oh god. Like a psychic, like he seriously presents a person reading tarot cards as like evidence. Like this is how he presents it. Okay? Mind you, the person who made that video always starts out the video with, this is just for fun and entertainment. This is not to be taken seriously. He means no harm when he does this. Take it with a pinch of salt, basically. That's the guy who does the tarot reading says all that in the beginning of all his videos, that you shouldn't be taking it too seriously. And Sloan presents this as the truth. And also he like freaking adds a comment of somebody speculating what's going on in her life.
I say there is a comment that stood out to me. It says, dad abused daughter. Mom is jealous of daughter. Drinks to cover up her issues. Blames daughter for her own self shortcomings. Rinse and repeat, it's clear as day. And her dad is such a creep. I can totally see this being like an issue.
Like based off of what? Based off of what? Based off of what? We actually really don't know enough to even make these once again, these are pretty serious obligations. You need way, way more to even say stuff like that. So yeah, they are conspiracies, dude. And that's kind of like the thing with Eugenia, like, you don't actually know, we don't have really a whole lot of confirmation on what's going on in her life, so a lot of what people talk about is just conspiracies. We actually don't know, like, if her hair is real or fake, but, like you said, that's not really the point here. We actually don't know if her mom is an awful person, like you put in your video, and then, speaking of, he does take quite a lot of pot shots at her mother in that video, and he apologized. He apologized for doing that. He wasn't gonna say anything unnecessary about her mother again.
I know, like, sometimes he says he isn't trying to be mean. I know he said mean things to my mom in the past and stuff, which I don't agree with at all. He was making a live stream about...
So that's where I want to talk about her mother for a moment. So I do want to apologize to Eugenia and say straight up, okay, I will no longer make videos about your mother. I have made a video about your mother in the past. I feel like I said everything I need to say in that video, but I do apologize for that video and for the approach I took, because I feel like when I started YouTube, like, I've become kinder over like time. Like maybe not kinder, but I feel like I understand different perspectives more. And maybe when I filmed that video at first, I didn't really understand how that could be hurtful talking about your mother. And by going in on your parents, like that's not going to help you at all. And I recognize that that is wrong of me to do that. And well, I feel like there's nothing in that video where I'm like, you know, I lied or I was misinformed or I was so wrong there. I am just sorry, a blanket sorry for, I'm sorry how I approached that, because obviously I said something in there that has stuck with you, because I feel like this is the second time now you said that it's about your mother and like what I've said about your mother. And it seems like maybe she just doesn't care what I have to say about her at all, whether it's good or what she sees as bad, but she definitely does care about me talking about her parents.
And then the very next video.
Oh, there's your preview into that next crazy video, because that next clip is actually insane.
Like you really didn't have a point for that. Like, funny enough, the video that previous clip was from is also the clip where he thinks Eugene does mom's accent's freaking Swedish. I can't get over how dumb that is. So, there was really no point, like, no actual point, other than, like, she thought she looked like a freak. And that's it. Well, after Eugenia did her makeup, let me give the content of the video. After Eugenia did her mother's makeup, kind of like how she would do her makeup, she's like, I look like a freak. I'm gonna wear my sunglasses. But, one, why that does sound kind of like mean, because that's kind of how her daughter does her makeup, and like what she's trying to say about her daughter. But, on the other hand, it could be just she doesn't think that this style of makeup looks... Eugenia's mother doesn't think this style of makeup looks good on her, but looks good on her daughter. We also don't know if they had like a conversation. Well, they probably did have a conversation about this before they turned on the camera. So, that could have been something her mother could have brought up to her, and Eugenia probably would have known that that's when she said, "Oh, I look like a freak," that she's not making fun of her. She just thinks that it just doesn't look good on her. That's also another possibility. And this is kind of like another thing about his content when it comes to his coverage. Is one, he talks in absolutes, which is never good. Never do that. Unless you absolutely know something is an absolute fact, which, once again, these videos that I'm talking about right now, he doesn't have any absolute facts. And he's a little prone to dramatics.
Very, like, I am, what is it called? Isn't flamboyant? I don't know if flamboyant, but I'm just very, like, emotional. You can see that I'm always, like, I'm displaying my emotion. It's hard for me to just, like, cover that up.
And I think that was what he's trying to I think that was the word he was trying to say, was dramatic. He's a bit dramatic. He's prone to hyperbole. And that's also a problem when you're talking about when you're talking about a subject that is very serious and should be handled very, very delicately. Because you can't say hyperbolic statements, because that's just gonna land you in a heap of hot water, man. Especially if you happen to be absolutely wrong, which you could be, because we don't have confirmation. And while a lot of the times when it comes to Eugenia, he's a little bit better at refraining from this. Sometimes. But there is this one live stream, where he did not refrain at all from it. He later apologized. I want to make that very clear. He later apologized for the way he behaved on the stream. So what happened was, one of her mods, like a fake account of her mod, send a thing to him, and
this was in my inbox. So I'm like, oh shoot, I called out Emu J on my story, and now he's over here direct messaging me online. Thank you, I need to put my glasses on. Lindsay, I think. Thank you for making such genuine, informed videos. They are life. Love you. Thank you. And Allie, sounds like an enabler. What the actual? Okay, yes, what the actual. But I want to clarify with you guys that I posted this on my story and I deleted it. And the reason why I deleted it was because this isn't actually Emo-J. But with my full heart, my full force and heart, I believed that it was.
So that was a part of the behavior, which is a bit concerning. That he just kind of saw a message and he kind of ran with it because
Someone did reach out to me and told me that their 9-year-old was hiding food and like putting away food or whatever because they wanted to look like Eugenia. I'm like, hold up, a 9-year-old? Like,
okay. Any proof of that being real, or are we just gonna take your word for it? Because I'm not gonna take your word for it. Not after that. I don't. I take that with the giant, with the bag of salt. Basically, what is what I'm trying to say. I take the whole 9-year-old story that he brings up a bit. He brings up like at least twice in 2 different videos. I take that with a big bag of salt, and you should probably too. And this is kind of the thing with it. Like when I kind of compare what Sloan says and when I look at like other resources that just talk in general about these sort of things, not just covering a person with it, but just in general. Like there's some things that match up but don't at the same time, which is just definitely interesting because Sloan's mentioned that he's had a psychology background.
I'm not hating on him. I'm simply saying he's not a specialist, so he can't actually help her from a professional level. Well, since we were just talking about my psychology degree, should we just go ahead and talk about it? Like, I actually do have education in this. I'm so glad you're here, actually, because you are the type of person that I need to answer these questions to, because you obviously don't know who I am. But again, thank you so much for just bringing up my clinical psychology background, my abnormal psychology background, in the research I would do. So yeah, thank you so much. And
So we know he has a degree. That's what he said, at least. Like I'm not assuming he's lying. I'm just saying that's what he said. But does he have a license? Like, does he have experience with treating somebody with EDs before? Has he ever treated anybody before? Has he ever held a medical license before? Has he ever practiced before? Like, what field did he study? Is it adult psychology or children's psychology? What is his credentials here? Because he's dunked on Katie Morton, which is fine to dunk on Katie Morton because I don't have really a problem with that. But he's dunked on her for being a marriage counselor. That's her experience, but she's talking about EDs. So what about you, man? He mentioned one of Herb's. We're just gonna call it Herb's in alters Herb's because it's easier to say. Sorry. He just mentioned that Herb's videos about the weirdos on the internet who really into people who have Anna.
I want to bring up is this video from an account called Of Herbs and Altars, where she posted a video talking about some of the forums that speak on Eugenia and that are obsessed with her condition and her getting worse. There is a whole community online that is supporting Eugenia in a negative way because they want her to get worse because they like that for their own personal desires and fantasies.
So yeah, that's a misrepresentation of her video. Really, Eugenia was a clip note. The majority of the video was about her and her friends discovering that their pictures back when they were really deep into the disorder was on the site, and then her just sneaking into it and then reading off like some posts and all that. Like when he was talking about it, he misconstrued like the whole video was about Eugenia when it wasn't. And he also mentions
You know, the only time I've ever heard about Eugenia talk about dating or even getting married is to the anime characters, which is fine, whatever. She's doing her thing online, but I wonder what if she's got like a private dating life outside of her online presence.
oh wow, in the same video, Herbs kind of mentions about a biology thing. How funny, that could actually explain that.
Finding an anorexic nymphomaniac like these people seem to want, good luck with that, because your whole body does shut down. Your body shuts down unnecessary things like your menstrual cycle and like your sex drive. You don't have a sex drive. Everything dries up. Sorry to get graphic, but everything dries up. You're basically menopausal, and you have no interest in sex. So
like, oh my god. I don't even think he watched after she mentioned Eugenia. I think he just clicked off. By the way, this is being recorded, like, it's at least, like, a whole ass month after I recorded the other one, because I recorded the other ones in January, and right now it's February, a little bit after Valentine's. So, and part of the reason why it took so goddamn long is because hunting down some of those clips to frickin' put into the video was a nightmare, especially for the latter half of the video. I don't remember all of them, but one in particular that took like 2 days to find was him mentioning that he has a degree in psychology, which like now that I sit on it for a little longer, because at first I was like, oh well, there's some questions, but now when I think about it, like like that's kind of important information to know. That was definitely the first time he's mentioned it in videos regarding Eugenia. That was definitely the first time. So, like, his degree gets brought up when somebody's saying that he's not a psychologist. And he acts like this is information that we should have known. Like, fucking no, this is like the only time you brought it up in reference to, like, anything with Eugenia. This is, like, the only time. And, like, not everybody's gonna watch all of your fucking videos, dude. Like, for real. He expects us to know all the deep lore of his fucking channel, but of course, there's always going to be some new person that comes in, and that's kind of... it's kind of the thing you expect. Like, you can't... So, it's kind of dumb. It's very dumb. Like, I feel like if he was, like, I don't know, like, if he had a PhD or something, he would probably refer to himself as professor, or if he had a doctorate, like a doctor. But, a doctor in psychology. So, reason why I'm re-recording this is because recently an Insider article has came out about the whole Eugenia getting taken off the internet thing. You know, it's, that petition thing that was going on, to get her off temporarily, and, Sloan was supporting that. And, funny that, experts on the thing that Eugenia has, a expert, one was just a psychologist, but well, regardless, still kind of has a better idea what's going on than Sloan does. Said that actually that wouldn't help her, that would hurt her. And he bet on the wrong horse. Oh yeah. Oh, and from that clip that he talked about doing fucking research, and no, he fucking didn't. Because if he did, he would have known that forcibly removing her off the internet, even temporarily, would not actually help her. All the comments that people make at her about her being unwell also isn't helping her. The videos he's making isn't helping her. If he did his freaking research like he said he would, or that he does, which is, it feels like a lie, because if he actually did his research in the way that he said he would, with his degree, he would have known that all of the things he's been saying and doing were wrong. Like, all the things I just listed, they were wrong. He would have known that if he actually did his research. But he didn't, clearly, because it took an Insider article for him to realize, oh, actually, I'm doing a bad thing. Shocker. So with all that being said, I don't think he actually does that much research. like, he might look up on the people he's talking about a little bit, but, like, I think he does surface research, you know? Because a lot of the times, like, a lot of examples I brought up, he doesn't actually know 100% what he's talking about, but he says, like, he knows what he's talking about. There's multiple times where, like, clearly his research has fallen short, or he clearly hasn't done none at all. And he needs to really fix that. He can't just come out here, like, if he doesn't actually know for sure, he can't say, like, he can't just sit there and act like this is 100% is what's going on. Like, he can't be hyperbolic, and he can't act like he knows something when he actually doesn't know something, cause it's gonna be really hard to take anything he says really seriously, cause it's like, after all this, I don't even know if I can freaking believe this dude. So, that's pretty much it. Basically, take anything Sloan says with a bag of salt. Try getting a second opinion on anything that he tells you. And I don't, like, wish him bad or anything, so, like, I guess good luck or whatever the fuck. Good luck or whatever the fuck. So, that's gonna be it for me. I'm gonna go to bed. So, yeah. Bye.